DJ Canoe asks, please tell us about aerosols generated during day-to-day cooking. Should we be wearing respirators that protect us from cooking aerosols? Just have a vent hood in use, etc. Great questions. All right, so there are a few general questions being asked here. First, what is the aerosol that's being produced during cooking? And second, is that aerosol harmful? And if so, how can we protect ourselves? Okay, so let's first discuss where the aerosols from cooking come from. The two main sources are from the flame used to heat up the pan and the smoke generated from what is actually being cooked in the pan. So let's start with the stove. The sources of heat in a stove range wildly throughout the world, from the very dirty, such as biomass burning, through to the very clean electric, meaning that the air pollution produced by the stove will range wildly based upon the fuel source. So for biomass burning, things such as dung or wood, there would be the production of large quantities of particulates and other chemicals known to cause adverse health effects. Exposure to elevated levels of particulate matter leads to cardiovascular and respiratory diseases such as strokes, asthma, and COPD. Polyaromatic hydrocarbons are known to be carcinogenic, meaning that prolonged exposure can cause cancer. Gas stoves burn much cleaner. The concentration of particulates and polyaromatic hydrocarbons generated are much lower, and the main concern is largely more around the production of NO2, which has been shown to increase the risk of asthma in children. Now, and finally, there are electric stoves. They cook extremely clean, producing nothing but pure heat. Now, throughout the world, the source of energy that people use to cook their food has been shown to have a significant effect on the health of the population. For this reason, there's been an effort to improve all stoves that are being used. Okay, so that's the air pollution formed from outside the pan. What about the air pollution caused by what's going on inside the pan? Well, obviously, the burning of food will lead to the production of large quantities of smoke. The composition of the smoke will largely be similar to that from biomass burning. This makes sense since the source of both are, biological materials. All right, then. So, what if you don't burn the food? Well, some air pollution will still be produced, but not nearly as much. A large source of air pollution when cooking comes from the fats or oils that are used to cook the food. Each of these fats and oils have something called a smoke point. This is the temperature at which the fat or oil will burn, leading to the production of particulates. Shown here is a table of the temperature smoke points for various fats and oils. So one way to lower your exposure is to simply use an oil that aligns with what you're cooking. So for example, if you want to cook at a higher temperature, use something like avocado or sunflower oil. Conversely, if you want to cook it low and slow, then you can use something like coconut oil or butter. Now, if you accidentally go over the smoke point, then you can be expected to be exposed to the usual suspects of particulate matter, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, VOCs, and PAHs. All right. So all of this is to say that both indoor air quality is important, and what we do in the kitchen will have a massive effect. For example, one study found that cooking a Sunday roast can cause the air inside of a household to become dirtier than Delhi, one of the most polluted cities in the world. Okay, so then getting back to the original set of questions, how do we protect ourselves from the hazards associated with cooking? Well, first, the most effective thing you can do is to limit the amount of air pollution that you're producing. This means improving the fuel that you use to cook your food. It means not burning your food. And it means selecting the appropriate oil that you're using when you're cooking your food to ensure that you stay below the smoke point. Now, once the generation of air pollution is minimized, you need to consider then how best to lower your exposure. This can be done a few ways. First, to physically remove the air pollution that's being generated from your kitchen. This can be done through ventilation, so do things like opening a window, and given its engineered location, a stove fan is a good way to reduce the amount of indoor air pollution generated by cooking. Note that a stove fan can simply move the air around the room and not transfer the air outside, so you need to test this out. One way you can test how effective your stove fan or opening a window is at ventilating your kitchen is with a CO2 monitor. I discussed how to do this in a previous video, link in the description. It would be worth monitoring the air quality in your kitchen with a particle counter. There are many of these available on the market. They don't need to be perfect or expensive to provide you with the valuable information about how effective you can remove air pollution from your kitchen and to better understand how your cooking habits affect the air quality in your kitchen. And finally, masking will always lower your exposure to all particulate air pollution.